Yeah. The Office of Crime Victims Advocacy? Yes. Mhm. I'm a victim of crime, and the state of Washington doesn't want to advocate for myself and my family. Now, you know, for every association that you've involved in these trainings, right, they all know what it means to be victimized. Phew. Now, obviously, I'm the victim of multiple felonies. Yes. And I'm thinking that your best practices, right, are not working. Now, when I email every sheriff and I emailed the Seattle Police Department and I used their municipal code to explain the felonies, yes, and I'm sitting here because no one wants to enforce the rights of those that are victims, yes. Now, prosecuting attorneys, Mark Nichols, yes, Mr. Hawes, pooh. Is there some problem with you enforcing the victim's rights? Now, Washington Coalition of Sexual Assault Programs, do they know anything about the false reporting of sexual assault? The use of forgery on documents? Oh, the proving of an individual had actually committed the crime of sexual assault? Yes. Or do they believe every victim that tells them that I was sexually assaulted? Washington State Hospital Association. Why don't you get me all the hospitals that are in the association? Yes, that the Office of Crime Victims Advocacy works with. Because I have documented numerous crimes, yes, and no one wants to enforce the actual laws of the United States. Uh, State Association of Counties. Let's say I emailed this county hundreds of thousands of times. Yes. I just documented where I was at on December 31st. I documented that my driver's license has been changed. Yes. That you're using forgeries. Right. That you kidnapped my sons. And for some reason, every county of the state of Washington doesn't think that I'm going to sue them because of their involvement in the Office of Crime Victims Advocacy. Now, the Association of Washington Cities. Tacoma is a city. Yes. Seattle's a city. Ouch. Olympia is a city. Yes. Now, Port Angeles is a city. Port Townsend. Yeah. Sequim, Washington. Yes. These are all individual cities of the state of Washington. And for all of them that belong to the Association of Washington Cities, I'd like to know what employees of each of those cities have been involved with the Office of Crime Victims Advocacy. Because it looks that the enactment of the state legislature of the state of Washington. I just had this experience today where I was emailing the state legislature, and it doesn't matter to me if you're still in office or you're not. See, the ones that I get that are rejected, pooch, they're probably not in office. But when I first emailed them, they were, yes. And then we've had an election in 2016. Yes. And it's 2019, or was it 2017? See, I can see who is not in office and who is, because of the emails that end up in their email. Yes. And for every one of you that are no longer in office, that's not an excuse right now. You were in office when I first emailed you. Now, other organizations deemed appropriate by the Office of Crime Victims Advocacy. Why don't you get me all the organizations, associations, yes, that have participated in what is known as crime victim advocacy? Because this idea that you're just going to arrest people, you're not going to admit evidence. No. You're not going to allow them to call witnesses on their behalf. Yes. You're going to use fraudulent mental health evaluations to say that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Yes. And then when I tell you that, well, I can't change my driver's license. Yes. I can't own any guns. Yes. But, well, the point is the right to own and keep firearms. Yes, it is. I can't drive a vehicle. No, you can't. And then you're going to keep sending court notices to 100 3023 Kitchen Dick Road because you just won't prosecute. Now, I didn't put a picture of Susan Bowers in today's email. Oh, for the last 2 years, I told you I wanted to speak to Marilyn. Yes. And I wanted your conspiracy to be prosecuted. And now I'm suing the bus company, okay, for the actual ownership of every asset of the bus company. Yes. And the individual employees that have liability, yes, for the knowledge of felonies. Pooch, it's called misprision.